Nowadays, smartphones have become much more high-tech with newer chipsets, better camera pixels, and of course some promising features such as waterproof and all of that shit. But, you think the reason people buy those newer and high-tech phones are just for flexing? Oh no, it's because of the capability of running high-quality mobile games. It's no stranger the mobile gaming market keeps increasing for the past few years, especially high-quality ones like the Battle Royale genre such as PUBG Mobile, that Diablo mobile game. Anyone still remembers that?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
And also gacha games.
The rest, I might just tap the rest. Let's do it. Tap.
No way! Now there's one genre that always thrives in the mobile gaming market industries, and that is the action RPG genre. Action RPG genre is one of the mobile game genre that is much addicting, and there's a ton of players like this genre. Also, there's an auto battle game which has more player base than action RPG due to its fan service, Princess Connect. Today I want to focus towards one game company that is always known for making an anime action RPG game, and that is Mihoyo. You guys probably know them as the developer and publisher of the Gun Z, Honkai Impact 3rd, and the well-known Genshin Impact that was released last year. Mihoyo is a game company that were founded by the 3 students from Shanghai Jiaotong University back in 2012. They decided to make games based on their love of anime. Before the company was founded, they already made a game called Fly Me to the Moon, which is a bullet hell game for mobile both on iOS and Android back in 2011. In 2014, Gun Z, also known as Honkai Gakuen 2nd, was released for mobile, which is a side-scroll action game and the prequel of Honkai Impact 3rd. Surprisingly, there's still updates dropping for the game until now, even though they are focusing on updating the game that gave them so much money. 2016 is where Honkai Impact 3rd was released, one of the most well-known mobile games that sparked the anime action RPG genre on that platform, and also one of the games that has its negative, both the story and the development as well. I played this game back when it was still just released in China and stopped when Yae Sakura was first introduced. It's so much fun, and I can't deny the characters are smoking hot, it even makes me want to nut.
I'm gonna kill him!
But then years went by, the plague was starting to be shown towards the game and Mihoyo itself. Now, I know you're going to say, it's a gacha game. And yes, I know how unfair the rates are for both Japanese and Chinese gacha games in general. Honkai Impact 3rd is probably one of the mobile gacha games that I consider both unoptimized for mobile, due it uses all of their CPU rather than GPU, not very balanced with its character balancing, and probably has the greediest marketing system that I've ever seen. I don't know if I can compare the greedy part as the same as Fate Grand Order, cause you know how fucking low the rates are on that game. But Honkai has a PC client. Yeah, but a PC client is basically a built-in emulator by Mihoyo itself. Another thing I hate is when you just freshly installed Honkai. Downloading the in-game file content takes too long. I believe this only happened on PC, either on the Isaiah region version or global. This is because Mihoyo throttles your download speed, which is completely annoying because you are forced to wait for so long until you can play the game. Choosing to download the entire assets could take you around 12 hours or maybe longer. Best just sleep when you decide to download that one. Honkai Impact 3rd has a lot of stuff being added in the game, and also plenty of accounts that are being given away as well, which give you more playtime for those who want to be a filthy no-life. But for a casual dumbass like me, I prefer a faster way to farm all the materials for upgrading and do a few stuff that need to be completed manually. Gameplay in Honkai Impact 3rd is inspired by Bayonetta and Devil May Cry for the post-Honkai Odyssey DLC. We will talk about that a bit later. From a combat perspective, I say it's much more easy and pretty brain dead. The dodging mechanic is literally infinite. While you can spam dodge all the time, the only thing that stops you from dodging is the 2-second cooldown after dodging twice. The character balancing is pretty absurd, because Mihoyo always nerfed their 4 most well-known overpowered character and replaced it with a new character, which makes existing character not viable anymore. Now, this is for those who are very much want to be competitive on a weekly mode. I also noticed they tried to bring back the old characters back from the dead by giving them new signature weapons to become relevant again. Speaking of competitive, this game is very competitive because the weekly mode gives you plenty of premium currency, which are the main reason why people are always going for that meta character to be top 10 or top 100. Honkai punishes waifu players, causing them to have less premium currency to roll on gacha because you can compete with the meta players in the competitive mode. As I said before, your other resource of getting a lot of premium currency. Now, I'm not an expert for the whole competitive shit in Honkai, but if you want to know more about the meta and strat, I suggest watching Kipster or MG. Gungul Z, even though it's an old game that is still getting updates, but hey, at least the character balance in there still makes sense. The gacha in this game is pretty bad, cause you are not just pulling for characters. Oh no, we have to pull both weapons, stigmatas, and elf as well to bring that character to its full potential. The pity goal for the character is pretty atrocious. You are guaranteed to get an S rank around 80 to 100 goal, but I've seen many people getting them on 100 pull. While the stigmatas and weapons can drop every 10 pulls, but you will end up getting a lot of dupes. There's also an elf gacha which has the same pity goal as the character gacha. You have to spend a lot of money or grind premium currency for a long time to fully upgrade your character to its maximum potential.
I fucking hate the supply drop robots. Suck!
The story for the game is out of place and really hard to follow. Now, the OG Honkai player will agree with me that the story from the beginning into Final Lesson is arguably the best plot in the game. After Final Lesson, the story goes out of nowhere even if you read both the manga and the following story in the game. All you get is more confusion than answer. Of course you get some stuff being answered, but not all of them. And then the announcement of the post-Honkai Odyssey DLC, which is supposed to take place after Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, when they first announced this, Mihoyo said it wasn't canon. A few weeks later, they confirmed the story of post-Honkai Odyssey was canon, thus making the whole community go mad after they heard about the story was canon, probably because the self-insert male character, I guess. Post-Honkai Odyssey is probably the only open world content that is felt like Devil May Cry, but here's the catch. Each map area for free roaming is locked with level gates, and the mobs can only spawn every 24 hours after you kill them. Forgot to mention the currency for upgrading skills also has its own limitation as well when you try to farm them on free roam. You think that's bad? Wait until you see the skill upgrade tree progression. This shit right here is the stupidest thing ever for skill upgrade progression. Yes, it's tied to the main game progression, so how it works is you get a certain character from the main game and must reach a certain character grade ranks as well. And you know what that means?
1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4!
Now this won't be a problem for those who have played Honkai since the game was released. But for newcomers that want to play the DLC, they have to either spend money or get stuck in a long grind to unlock and upgrade that character rank. This right here, making this DLC not worth it to play. It would make much more sense to make it as a separate game rather than become a new content for the main game. Such a shame for a fun open world DLC, it got locked by the pay-to progress system and makes the mode boring and possibly a dead open world mode. Now back to the main game. There's also a ton of game-breaking moments, which I wonder if anyone remembered this. Hursor Void can crash your game on co-op. I think this only happened on the Sega version, maybe. And bad optimization on some of the modes, like the DLC, where there's sometimes a frame drop on certain area. I bet someone will put the funny buy better phone or PC joke in a comment. With this many issues that it has with Honkai, you think they will fix the bad optimization issues? Well, nope, it's still running like shit, which they force you to buy a new phone or PC. Fast forward to 2020. Genshin Impact was released worldwide, and for the first time, a gacha game was released for console. Wait, I thought FIFA from EA Games is already a gacha game on console.
On EA, what have you got for me? Aubameyang! Yes! Lovely jubbly!
Genshin Impact is an open world adventure action RPG game. And yes, it's basically Breath of the Wild. I felt really bad about that guy in China. When the game was announced at a convention, he smashed his PlayStation 4 right in front of the goddamn crowd. I say it's a breath of fresh air for Mihoyo due to the addition of adding a lot of playable male characters in Genshin. I remember when Mihoyo tried to add male characters to be added in Honkai before, but the community went berserk when it was announced. So in the end, they scrapped that idea. Well, there's that male character on the DLC, I guess that count? The gameplay is okay, I guess, and the progression is, well, let's face it, it's a gacha game, and when you reach endgame, it's going to be a completely boring game. On the low level into rank, I don't know, 25 or 30-ish, it still has some content. But when you reach the end game, which obviously just farming rare artifacts, the game becomes a barren wasteland. Well, you could explore around the world, waste your resins, collecting those element locust stuff, kill some mobs or bosses, treasure hunting, and mining. When the game first released, the main issue of the game was resin. Resin is the Genshin equivalent of stamina count. The resin you were given only allowed you to do domain, redeem boss world, and challenge rewards like around 4 times, and that is the only big source of getting adventure XP when you don't have any story quest. There's also another way to earn adventure XP, which is commission, treasure hunting, bounty mission, and solving world puzzles. But when you finish solving all the world puzzles, all you do is just explore around and find some chests. Few months later, they give you an option to save your remaining resins to become a shard resin, so you can use them again on the next day that you want to farm XP and materials. The gacha is still the same. Come on, this is Mihoyo we're talking about. Although they put the pities here to be 90 pulls, and there's still a chance you get an off raid.
Now that's a supply drop.
The game is pretty easy if you know what you're doing. I only remember the child boss fight in the story was pretty challenging, and a couple of my friends were having fun with it, until the community begged it to be nerfed. I still can't believe someone actually said that his boss fight is the same level as Dark Souls boss fight. I'm sorry, but I played Dark Souls before, but shit man, child boss fight still looks easy as fuck than Dark Souls bosses. And what do you know? They nerfed him so hard until he became a full brained boss in the game. Well, his domain version is still the same, so that's the only compensation. Also, does anyone remember the Zhongli situation? The Zhongli drama back then was probably the funniest thing I can remember. Basically, he was advertised to be overpowered and plays like a DPS, which builds a lot of high expectation to most of its player base. But it turns out he was weak. His role is support to begin with anyways, which is not surprising cause his job is to decrease geo defend. People complain about how weak he is, and it's not worth pulling him. This won't stop Fujoshis and collectors to pull him though. Mihoyo also drops into the drama and they start addressing the Zhongli situation. Then the next patch drop and his banner already gone. You know what Mihoyo did to Zhongli? They buff him to the point he is overpowered and become DPS rather than support. Bet anyone that decided to not pull him were crying back then. Honestly, the DPS character roster is a bit too much. I suggest they add more support characters rather than releasing another DPS. To be fair, the whole aspect of the free open world game was nice, but it's pretty boring when you are already done with your weekly and daily tasks. Of course, co-op exists, but the only thing you can do is just helping them during their domain runs and events, but not quests, which pretty sucks. Also, I have a feeling the game will increase in size when other world regions are released, and I doubt it will be on a reasonable size for a mobile game. But hey, at least it's available for PC and console. Also, Switch versions are confirmed for the game, still no news when it will be released though. Now, even though the game is kinda boring, but hey, people are doing it to collect waifus or husbands. Oh, and the memes for the game is fucking great. Basically, this game is an equivalent like Fallout 4, both the meme and bugs aspect of course. The Stormterror Dragon, also known as Duvalian body clipping issue, still exists from what I heard. This bug exists from the initial release. Like, come on man, at least fix this bug so people won't waste their time cause you can't climb up on a dragon weak point on certain areas. Although archer type exists, and Ganyu is the most powerful archer in the character roster, so if you're really lazy to climb up, you can just use archer type, and if you have Ganyu, you're good to go, I guess. Now, I know you guys are going to ask this question. Do I hate the game? No. Do I hate how Mihoyo ways to fix the game? Yes. What I'm trying to say is, I love the game, but I just hate how Mihoyo handles them. Rather than fixing the issue that have been reported plenty of times by the community, they just downright ignore them and fix other stuff that the community doesn't ask for to be fixed. In the end, it depends on people's own opinion, how they see Mihoyo as a game company, and I'm not forcing people to stop playing the game. Well, even though I should talk about the game on my friend's Discord, sometimes I can be a complete asshole. I'm sorry. Now let's move on to the community. Before we go into that topic, I want to tell you the difference between the sides of the Mihoyo community so people don't take this out of context. There's two sides on the Mihoyo community. The casual side, which I always talk to, and the white knight side, which always defends Mihoyo bad practices and well known to make drama. But today, we are going to talk about the bad side. The community on the bad side is easily the most toxic community that I ever seen. I know most of the game community has the toxic communities, so let's move on. Every time they see something that they don't like and it's completely fine by everyone, they always complain and end up becoming a big drama. The Honkai official Discord has a lot of poor advice given out like candy, and they have discrimination against top 100 players. And there's also a big appeal to lollies, which I'm not going to hate on someone's fetishes, but showing it off on a public official game Discord, the loot ones of course, isn't that breaking Discord terms of service? I mean, you can do it on your private server, friend server, or community Discord that has NSFW room only restriction for fellow DGen, so anyone that don't like to see NSW stuff don't have to see them. And does everyone remember the CAG situation? A free-to-play Honkai player that got falsely banned because he managed to reach the top 100 with minimal gear. If anyone doesn't know what happened, CAG's account randomly got banned for a few months. Assumably got mass reported by the community, but according to Honkai business, being gone for a few months will doom your entire career if you don't well hard. CAG took this ban personally and he vowed to never return. Several top players petitioned this to Mihoyo and even refused to spend as a means to strike. Wait a minute. I've seen this strike pattern before. This also includes Crosses, who's probably well around $80,000 if not more in Honkai. However, Mihoyo never lifted the ban, so that's the end of CAG. So yeah, basically if you are good in the game, either in Genshin or Honkai, just get ready to get mass reported by salty players. A quick nutshell of the Genshin community is when a new character is released. Basically, when a new character is broken or weak, they are always going to make a comparison to an existing character, where the existing character is much better than the new ones. Best example of this situation is the Xiao vs Ganyu shenanigans in the Genshin forums. And there's the cringy and clickbaity content creator like Tecton and Mtash. I mean, do I have to explain who Tecton is? Like, come on, everyone knows him, especially the Arknights community. Tecton is one of those guys who always give bad advice to get better at the game and always blames the community for the hate he received. He also known to always jump ship, which the best example is when he jumped from Arknights to Genshin because Arknights community is toxic. Okay my guy, I've been in the Arknights community since EN release, looks fine and casual to me. Mtash used to be known as Destiny content creator. He jumped the Genshin train when it was released. He got banned from Genshin Discord because he shit on players asking for advice in the help channel and shoving his videos to their throat. And he always complaining about the game even though this is a mobile gacha game, not a AAA game title. I think the best way I can describe him, he's basically an idiot and an asshole toward newcomers and non-whalers. Another thing that Mtash is also well known is the time where he uploaded a video showcasing an exploit in Destiny. I think it's the time when he uploaded himself using the most overpowered gun where he begs everyone not to use it. Thus ending up making that gun become popular and the Destiny community are pissed at him. And there's that kind of content creator that buys premium currency toward third-party services. Keep in mind that Mihoyo don't like this kind of people, so anyone that got caught will get massive debts from them. And you can't pull anything from the banners until you pay your debt. Not every content creator is like this. Some that I meet, most of them are pretty cool and chill to chat with. Rexlent, the well-known Dalao, and of course the F2P only guy, wink wink. Kenrix, always making good content on Honkai, especially combat gameplay wise. Fury Production, pretty awesome dude that's sometimes making animation, mostly I know is his Honkai animation related on MMD. MG, really informative guy when making content both Honkai and Genshin. Oh, and partner as well by Mihoyo. But still, he's an awesome dude to talk with. And last but not least, Sophisticated Eevee, who always makes a meme compilation video and probably the spiciest Genshin meme video I ever watched. That's all I can say about the community side. Then again, it's based on my opinion, which I don't mind if people aren't going to agree with me. But in the end of the day, Mihoyo is always going to be successful with their games, forcing people to pull limited characters and make more fanservice costumes on Honkai and smoking hot chick and dudes on Genshin. At least Tecton is happy on Genshin. Oh wait, the entire Genshin community hate him. But hey, that's Tecton for ya!
I think he's trash!
just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.